Hello and welcome back to my channel, or probably if you are new here. Today we are going to be doing 4 looks with 4 different palettes, and this week's theme is going to be Melt Cosmetics palettes. So for today's look I am going to be using the Melt Rust palette, and it looks like this. And I think of course I will be using this light shade color, probably this color here and this color here, and I don't know, probably this shade here. I'm going for kind of a matte look color, and this is kind of a satin kind of color here, so I think that will go with it. So I'm looking to use Classic, Rust, and Rot Squared, is that the color? And Tarnish. So I will be using those shades. Let me see, I seem to be missing, but yes, it is right down there. Missing a brush, and it is my EO3. But we're going to be starting off with the EO6, probably my favorite brush. And we're going to go into Rust and put it in and above the crease line. I've had this palette a little while, a couple years I think. I bought it on a really good deal on Sephora, I think. I'm not sure if they still make this palette or not. Oh, that is such a pigmented color. I'm going to keep using this EO6 shade brush and go into Classic and use that in the inner portion of my lid and work it out and blend it in with that rust color. I am so excited. The Yin and Yang palette from Bella Beauty Bar has come out, and I ordered it. It should be here in, it was kind of a pre-sale, so it should be here in at least, at most, a couple of weeks. Today I'm going to use that brush color some more. Today I'm going to the Netflix house with my friend and my daughter. My son decided he didn't want to go. So I will tell y'all tomorrow how that went. Okay, looking good so far. Going back into that Classic shade. I'm gonna put it on the lid as well. Okay, then I'm going to take that EO3 and go into this Rot Squared color. And work it on the outer part of my lid. for some dimension. Very beautiful. Very nice look so far. I do love the melt formula when they do it good. When they do it good. And this is one of the palettes where they did it good. Okay, gonna clean up a little bit. Gonna take the EO7, yes. Gonna take that broad square colored. Just bring it down a little bit. Now this is the point where I would say, do I want to put on a shimmer? I don't think I want to today. Just taking this EO2 and putting that classic shade on my lid in place of a shimmer. And taking that broad square and putting it on my lid. In place of a shimmer. And blending the two together. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to put on my mascara. And clean my brushes, and I will be right back. Okay, so just a basic look for going out for the day today. Nothing special. Okay, gotta clean up the eye area here. Let me know what you think down below. I really like this look. So, yeah. Okay, then I used, this is the palette again, and I used this shade, and this shade. Those were the only three shades I used, these three shades. Okay, just a basic neutral kind of look, and we are going to go ahead and move on to day number 2. Okay, today we are going to be using the Gemini 2 palette from Melt, and it looks something like this. We're not going to be using the green shades today, but we are going to be using this shimmer shade right here called Shimmered. We're going to be using this light color here, probably this color. The light color is called Bella. We're going to be using this shade here called Gemellas. right here, and we're going to be using this darkest shade here called LX Queen. LX Queen. So we're going to be using all of those shades right there. And we're going to make a nice rose colored look today. Kind of a romantic rose monochromatic color look. And so I'm going to find my EO6 here, and we're going to start off with that Gemellis, something like that. So we're going to start off with that, and I'm going to tell you that we had a lot of fun, me and Chloe, my daughter Chloe, and my friend went to the Netflix house yesterday. We had a little trouble finding it. I don't go to the Galleria in Dallas that often. I think the last time I went, my kids were babies, and we went there to just walk them around in their strollers. And Chloe said I took them ice skating there before, but I don't remember that. My memory is that bad. Or I think we took them ice skating at Allen. I think that's where we took them ice skating at. There's an ice skating rink in Allen. This story's going to probably go over multiple days. But they have an ice skating rink at the Galleria. It's really nice. We didn't do any ice skating this time around. Okay, I'm going to go in with my EO3, EO2, and use Bella. So we find the Netflix house, and we decide we're going to eat first. We said we're going to eat, but we don't want to eat too heavily. So we go into their restaurant, and they have all kinds of themed dishes. We just get like the pepperoni pizza, and it's like themed from something from Stranger Things. The paper that it's on is from that. Surfer Boy pizza that was from Stranger Things. If you know, you know, I guess. Or when Jonathan had that friend that worked for the Surfer Boy Pizza when they were in California. So I thought that was a cute little touch. We just got a pizza and shared it because we didn't want to eat too heavily. It was a smallish pizza. We didn't want to eat too heavily before we played Squid Games. We didn't know how physically active it was going to be. Turned out it wasn't really that much. And so we go downstairs to get in line to play. And they take us into this room. Okay, now I'm taking the EO3 and going into the Lex Queen. They take us into this room. There's about 24, 25 of us. And they just start yelling at us. And then there's some guys in the, dressed up like the henchmen with the black masks on, with the circles and the X's on them and stuff like that. but they take our pictures like they do in the game. They take your pictures and they give us wristbands with numbers on them. I think mine said 378 on it. And they put your face, put your picture up and your number up. It's like a leaderboard. So you get to play all the games. You might get disqualified or you might get out in one game, but you still get to play the next game. You just get like points in each game. So we played 5 different games. And after each game you get ranked. And then they show you what your ranking is. I'll tell you about the games tomorrow, but it was so much fun. I'm going to take the LX Queen. I mean tomorrow, same video, just when I do my makeup tomorrow. Granted to say, I did not come in first, nor did my daughter or my friend. We all came in pretty much near the bottom. They weren't hard games. Just putting some of this schmood on my eyelid. I want to go back and do the Stranger Things one. I'm not sure what you do in that one. But we did go to the gift shop and I bought a Stranger Things sweatshirt. Okay, then I'm gonna take Bella. I'm gonna take that EO6 brush. Where is that? I'm gonna take Bella. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, I am going to go put my mascara on, go clean my brushes, and I will be right back. Okay, and here is how the final look is. We've got it right here. And let me know what you think. Again, I used the Gemini 2 palette with those shades that I showed you. This one right here, this one right here, this Schmood one right here, and this darkest one right here. I didn't use any of the greens. None of these right here. So this is the palette right here. Very beautiful palette. Very nice. Very pretty. And yeah. So let's go ahead and move along to day number 3. Okay, today we are going to be using the Mary Jane palette from Melt. And it looks like this. I have had this one a really long time. And today we are going to be using this shade right here. And then this shade right here. So that is called Mari and Rubia and Sensimilla right there. And then we are probably going to be using this one called Bow, this shimmer right here called Bow. So we're going to do things a little differently here. I'm going to take my EO6 and go into Mari, and I'm going to put that in my crease, all through my crease. This is the lightest shade. We're gonna see if this one still has any pigment left in it. I was going back over the footage of the last 2 days, and I think I really should have used a shimmer on that first day. So, back to the Squid Games. The first thing they had us do was take our pictures and then line us up, and we had us go into the first room. And the first game they had us play was this kind of memory game where they took 5 of us at a time, and we had to stand in front of this like grid where each of us were looking down at about 8 or 10 squares that would light up red or green, and they showed us each a pattern that had red squares and green squares, and we were allowed to step on the green squares, but they only showed us the pattern once, and each of us had a different pattern. I had to go, like, I was in like the first group of people, so I kind of didn't understand what was going on at first. So you had like, okay, like say your first and second square were like lit up green, and then your third and fourth and fifth were lit up red, and then your 6th, 7th, and 8th were lit up green, and your 9th and 10th were lit up red. Okay, sounds easy enough. But then they showed you that for like 2 to 3 seconds, and then it was gone, and then they started like lighting up everything red and green. So like you immediately, like me, I have a horrible memory, so I immediately forgot my pattern, and they only showed it to you once. And so they tell you to step on your first green square that you had, and so on and so forth. And then they'll tell you to step on the second green square, or what you thought was your green square. I got kicked off almost immediately because I couldn't remember my pattern. Now my daughter Chloe made it all the way through that one. And if you might make it all the way through, you get to scan your wristband. I just couldn't remember the pattern of my green and red squares. The next game they had us play was marbles. They had us go in and pick a table to go to based on like the star, square, circle, or umbrella pattern, I think. I'm using the Rubia color now. I got stuck with the umbrella. And they give you a tin of marbles. And you basically have to get it into the open area. And you take each other's marbles if you get into that area. And then if you lose all your marbles, then you're out. And this was a timed game. And the more marbles you had at the end, the more points you got. I only had a few marbles at the end, so I didn't get many points. But I didn't lose all my marbles. So, if I remember correctly, the next game they had us play was this kind of merry-go-round game where they split us up into red group and blue group. And we took turns where it was kind of like a cakewalk game. Where you walked around a circle, and in the outer part of the circle were shapes like an X, an O, X's, O's, squares, and what have you. And then you'd go around in a circle around this inner circle, and then they would call like O, and then you would have to jump on the O. There were only so many O's, and whoever landed on an O got to go to the next round, which was an inner circle. So you walk around. The people that didn't make an O had to go over to the losers area, and the people that were left got to walk around again. And go to the inner circle, which there were even less. Is this making sense? I don't know. So, say there were like 6 people walking around, and there would be like 2 squares, 2 O's, 2 X's, and they would call X. So 2 people had to land on the X to fight it, and you couldn't touch each other or push each other or anything like that. So whoever landed on the shape that was called were the winners. And then they did the same thing with the blue team. They did it with the red team, and then they did the same thing with the blue team. So we had 4 winners from that. And then we got to play red light, green light. Okay, I'm going into this bow color, which we were in this kind of big room, and it had obstacles. So it had that big little girl in there that would say red light, green light. So every time she said green light, you could move towards the finish line. And you said red light, then you had to stay still and freeze. And if you moved, you were out. That one I actually won. Or I didn't get out on. I'll tell you about the final game tomorrow. Don't give me something to talk about. So this is the look so far. Okay, yeah, I want to go into that Simsilla. Similia, and go into the eyeline. It was a lot of fun. We had lots of fun. I'm gonna go into this Cali color for an inner corner highlight. Cali. Okay, I'm going to go off and do all my stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, and here's the final look I've got going on here. I have always loved this palette so much. I really like this look. And then, again, here is the palette. I love this raised textured. I just love the presentation of this palette. Now this shade right here, I did not pan this shade. It kind of exploded on me. This is the Cali shade. This is the shade that I have in my inner corner. But I used this shade right here. I used this shade right here. And I used this shade right here. And then I used this shade right here. Always loved this palette. And it is still pigmented. And yeah, I don't really use this shade or this shade on my lids. I usually just use them as inner corner highlights because they don't really work very well on the lids, but the other shimmers in this palette do. I really like that bow one, and I like Sweet Lucy a lot. This shade right here. This shade right here for shimmers, but these outer shimmers, they don't. Mary Jane is kind of okay, but that Cali shade, it doesn't work very well on the lid. So I just tend to not use those shades on the lid. But yeah, this is the look. Let me know what you think. I think so far this is my favorite one, with yesterday's look being number 2 and the first look being look number 3, liking that one the least. Okay, what am I gonna use tomorrow? I'm not sure yet. But we will see. I will be right back. Okay, we are on to day number 4, and this is the palette I probably should have used on Monday, which was 420, and this is the 420 palette. So this is what it looks like right here. We're going to use colors on this side. I'm going to use the wax color, the blunt shade, and the roll it shade, and the shadow shade, which is the only shimmer that is in here. So we're going to use those shades. So yeah, this mustardy yellow here I'm really interested in, and yeah, blunt, the shade right here, and then this darkest shade right here. I think I've only used this palette once before. Again, I got this on like a sale that they were having on the Melt website. I'm going to take the E06 shade and I'm going to go into blunt. Let me just adjust my wig right here. Oh, very, very kick up. Very lots of kick up. Okay, where did I leave off? I left off on the last game that we played in the Squid Games, which wasn't very all that fun because I didn't get to participate in it. We all gathered around this table and we all had these platters in front of us, with these covered platters in front of us, and we had these light bulbs like in front of us, and the winner, the top guy, the guy that was at the top right now, the number 1 guy who had the highest score, he got to stand up on this platform with this big Jack-in-the-Box. And then there was this random generator that picked somebody from those of us sitting at the table, and then that whoever got picked got to lift up their platter, and it had a number on it, and an X or a 0, and the number on it meant you got to go up on the platform with the winner guy, and you got to crank the number of times that your number was, the number under your platter was. And the winner guy would crank it that many times, and you would crank it that many times. And an X and an O meant who would go first. Like if it was an O, you would go first. If it was an X, he would go first. And if the Jack-in-the-Box popped up while he was cranking it, then that means you got to be the winner. And if it cranked up while you were cranking it, that means he actually got to be the winner. So it just went on like that for a while. The Jack-in-the-Box never cranked up, but it finally cranked up. Finally for some contestant. So the winner guy actually got to be the winner. I'm going into wax with the Z06. But I never got chosen to go up on the stage, up on the platform. Like I said, I didn't get to participate in that one. And then they let us into this room where you got to take a lot of photo opportunities. And they had a photo booth and stuff. So we stayed in there for a while and took some pictures. So we had a lot of fun doing it. It was an interesting experience. Just clearing off some of this excess here. Going back into blonde to put in some more of this brown. Okay, we're going to go with the EO3 and go into Roll It. And use this on the outer portion of the lid. Looking quite nice. I will clean it up. I do like these grungy kind of looks. I do think I prefer using this EO6 over the EO2. The EO2 is just not as fluffy of a brush as the EO6. This is the EO2, this is the EO6. I like my brushes fluffy. Just clean up a little bit. Okay, I'm going in with the EO7. Yes, I'm starting to get these names right. These are the Singe brushes that I'm using. Go in a little bit in the lower lash line. And now take the EO9 and go into Shatter, which is the only shimmer shade in here. Pick it up and spray it. I do like the shade, the shimmer shade. But it's a mustardy yellow. Okay, it looks like I need to clean up a little bit more. Bring this back down. Adjust. Okay, I really like this look. I'm trying to remember what yesterday's look was. What did I use? Mary Jane? Yeah. I haven't looked at the Mary Jane footage, but I like this look and the Mary Jane look a lot. Let me put a little more depth on here. And this could be my favorite look. Okay, let me go put on some mascara and clean my brushes, and I will be right back. Okay, and this is the final look that we've got going on here. I really do like this look, but I can't decide if I like the second day's look, the third day's look, or the fourth day's look better. I like the second day's look with the Gemini 2 palette because of the rosy tones. I like the Mary Jane palette because it was kind of a moody look, and I like the mustardy tones of this day's look. And I just kind of like them all equally. I really didn't care too much for the Rust palette look. I kind of wish I had used a shimmer on that day. So let me know what day you liked, or what palette you liked better. If you have any of these palettes, let me know, and what palette you like to use and all of that stuff. And yeah, just leave me a comment down below. And yeah, this is the palette that I used, and I used this shade. Again, I used this shade here, this shade here, this shade right here, and this shade right here on my eyes. And yeah, so leave me a comment, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, share it with your friends if you think they would enjoy it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I would love to have you as a subscriber of this channel. I don't have memberships or anything like that. But yeah, I hope you have a very nice day today, and I will see you in a video next time, sending you out all those vibes. Alright, see you next time. Bye.